And good morning, everyone. Welcome to This Day. It is a Thursday, and thankfully those winds are over. We're in for a start of some cooler weather and some fog coming back. I'll tell you about that in just a moment. On our show today, we have a doctor with a Harvard eye, and she is going to be talking about macular issues and brought along a few slides, particularly two different issues that she's going to really kind of give great information on and also talk about treatments for as well. Then from South Coast Metro Center for Dentistry and Implants, we have Dr. Wolf. He will be here today. And Globe headlines, of course, on Thursdays. And then also we're going to bring you a segment with Wendy Miller. She is your local RE/MAX realtor. Now, as far as meetings go today, GRF has their prep meeting, their agenda prep meeting. That'll be in the Willow Room at 9:30. And then United has their Resident Advisory Committee meeting at 4 in the Sycamore Room. Now, let's get to the weather. And today, kind of like that transition day, the winds have gone a little bit cooler today. Not too much, but we're really going to start to see that. And we're going to begin to see some of the fog out there and a few scattered clouds, particularly as we get to the afternoon. We'll start to see the hazy sun and then some scattered clouds. And then as we get into the next several days, that morning fog will be back, and look at the temperatures slowly work their way down. Really nice, partly cloudy on Monday. And there is a chance, looking at maybe probably Wednesday of next week, of rain coming in the area. Certainly it's going to hit Northern California, San Francisco, the Central Coast, and it could be a pretty decent system. So we'll see if it makes it down here. Those areas will definitely get it. Just see if we get it. We'll look into that next week. It could turn out we may have a rainy Thanksgiving. We've been wanting rain. I wish it wasn't on the day of Thanksgiving, but we need the rain. Let's look at the area, Orange County and beyond. Yeah, the winds are gone. Hazy sun out today, a bit cooler. Really nice weather. Look at the beach, is about 74. They're the ones that kind of dropped today because they're going down by about 5 degrees from yesterday. Everywhere else is pretty similar, maybe down just a couple degrees from yesterday. The difference will really begin tomorrow. But overall, just a nice trend coming our way. It feels really good. It really felt like fall last night. It was beautiful, nice and crisp out. All right, we'll be back in just a moment.
Do you need Halloween, Thanksgiving, or Christmas cards? Diane's Hallmark has them all. From a wide selection of gifts as well as Hallmark Christmas ornaments, let Diane's Hallmark help you celebrate these special seasons. We also carry Vera Wang Bradley handbags and jewelry. And don't forget we carry Bibles, Christian books, and gifts as well. Come in today and experience our personalized service. Diane's Hallmark is located in the Walmart Shopping Center next to Hobby Lobby. If you asked me what I wanted to be when I was a child, I would have told you a princess or an astronaut, maybe even a chef. But things change. I may not have become a princess, but I found someone who treated me like one. I may not have become an astronaut, but I still got to see the world. I may not have become a chef, but you would never leave my house hungry. The Emeritus Institute has kept my love of learning alive. Every day is a new adventure, and the Emeritus classes have made it possible to keep living out my dreams. Sign up today and begin your life's next adventure.
At family-owned Capistrano Toyota, I've been teaching my staff for years that we always say yes to our customers.
Can you help me get financed?
Yes, we can help.
Will you walk my dog?
Yes.
Will you change our baby's diapers?
Yes, of course.
But they may be taking this yes thing a little bit too far. Come and see for yourself that at Capistrano Toyota, we always say yes to our customers.
You've trusted the doctors at Harvard Eye Associates with your eyes for the last 4 decades. Now it's time to trust us with your face. Our board-certified surgeons and aesthetic nurse offer the latest in facial aesthetic treatments, such as Botox, dermal fillers, laser skin rejuvenation, eyelid surgery, and face and neck lip surgery. Call us today to schedule your complimentary cosmetic consultation. 949-951-2020. Ask about our limited time savings on Botox and dermal fillers.
Always nice to get someone. We love all the doctors over at Harvard, but it's not that often we meet somebody new from over there. So it's fantastic. I'm glad you're on today. Tell us about your background and how did you make your way to come here to this area and with Harvard?
Yeah, well, thank you for having me. I agree that everyone at Harvard's great. I'm a little bit biased, but I'm originally from Southern California, from the Inland Empire.
Okay.
And I left and did my college and medical school schooling in upstate New York.
Wow.
And then did my residency and fellowship training in Kansas City, so I've been all over the country.
Yeah.
Then decided to come back home, and I was practicing in the Inland Empire until recently.
Okay.
And delivered actually my daughter at Saddleback, which my room overlooked Harvard Eye Associates, and I said, you know what, it would be really nice to be closer to home. So here I am.
That's a good story.
Yeah.
Very good. And of course, you know, Harvard is expanding. They've got just great staff over there. Not just the doctors, but everyone that's involved. And
absolutely.
They really do some great work over there, and just good people.
Absolutely.
So it's great to have you with them.
Thank you so much.
So today we're going to talk about macular issues, and in particular, macular holes and puckers. Now I've heard of the holes, I've never heard of the puckers. So we're gonna go through this. And on the first slide, we're going to show, in the photos we're going to bring up, the effect of macular issues. Tell me first what we're talking about, macular degeneration, or what is that? What's happening?
Sure. So a lot of people are familiar with the macula in regards to macular degeneration.
Yeah.
I know you guys have talked about it on here before. So the macula is the centermost part of the retina, which is the nerve tissue in the back of the eye.
Okay.
When you look straight ahead at something, when you're driving, when you're reading, you're predominantly using your macular area to do that work.
Okay.
So obviously a very important area to the eye. Problems with the macula can cause problems in your central vision. So your central vision can either be distorted or blurred, like the picture on the left, or there can be a hole in the center of your vision as you perceive it, which we call a scotoma, like the picture on the right.
Okay.
And it's difficult just by your symptoms to know, is it macular degeneration or a different problem with your macula? The symptoms present similarly, and so that's why it's important that if you have any of these symptoms to come in to see your ophthalmologist. Macular holes can cause either of these problems, and typically macular puckers cause more of a distortion or a blur and less likely that little spot in your vision.
Okay, so on the next slide we're going to see macular holes. Now, am I hearing you right that this is different than macular degeneration?
Yes, it's a different problem.
I thought this was in association with, one and the same.
So
basically.
it affects the same area of the retina, and the symptoms can often be similar, but very different problem, treated differently, different etiologies.
Okay, all right.
So this is a scan called an OCT, or optical coherence tomography. It's a very easy scan for us to do in the office. Just takes a couple of seconds and gives us very detailed information about the macular area and its anatomy. So these are two different examples of macular holes. The one labeled B is not quite as open and gaping as the one underneath, so it's not as severe of a stage. And the one C right below it is a larger hole.
Okay.
So basically what causes macular holes, typically it's age-related. So in the back of the eye, there's a jelly-like substance called the vitreous. When we're born, it's nice and solid, and as we get older, it can shrink. About 85–90% of the time, it shrinks without any problems.
Okay.
But sometimes it can cause problems when it's shrinking and detaching from the retina.
Okay. In
the case of macular holes, what happens is it kind of gets stuck to the macula, and that area stretches, and a hole can rip open. In the image on the bottom C, you can see that the little dot above the hole, and that's actually where the vitreous has detached and has left the hole underneath.
Okay. Now, You mentioned you do a scan. Is this something, when I came in like a couple years ago and had the whole eye exam, was that part of a normal eye exam where I know I looked into this device, or is this something you would only do if somebody starts to notice something?
Sure, so that depends on the doctor. Most retina doctors will do this as part of their scan because this is what we look at and what we see every day. And a lot of it is symptom-based. So if you come in complaining of distortion in your central vision or a decrease in vision, oftentimes we'll get a scan to help us corroborate what we're seeing clinically.
Okay, so in the next slide, we're going to look at puckers. Now, is this something sort of a folding of the back?
Exactly. So this is, again, another OCT image. You see it doesn't have that hole. I don't know if you can appreciate, but there's kind of that flat line on the top that's distorting the image, and that's the pucker itself. The etiology is pretty similar to what causes holes in that it's age-related and a problem with that vitreous. This time, the vitreous, as it's shrinking, can deposit some scar tissue on the surface of the macula, and that kind of will cause the macula to swell and be thicker than it normally is. With macular puckers, how thick the retina is typically correlates with how poor the vision is. And so sometimes it's pretty mild and someone may not notice that they have any problems, but in this case, it's typically more thick, and so you would expect them to have a decrease in vision.
So with the puckers, is that if someone begins to notice something, that would be more of a blurred vision?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
And let me ask you, I know we're going to see this next slide here. We can kind of talk about this here, about how you solve this problem.
Sure.
But quickly, what is macular degeneration, if it's different from this? If you could just kind of go over that.
Sure, absolutely. So macular degeneration is when, again, problems with the macula, and it is age-related and very strong genetic component to it. And really, it's just that macula ages faster than it should.
Okay.
I like to tell my patients that if we all live long enough, we'll probably all get macular degeneration.
Okay.
It's like the macula just kind of wears down. And there's two forms. There's the dry form and the wet form.
Right.
Unfortunately, at this time, there's not a whole lot we can do for the dry form. But with the wet form, sometimes new blood vessels can form and you can start getting some swelling, which we can see on exam and on those OCT images. And if it gets to that point, that's the point where we intervene and start doing injections or lasers to the eye to try to help the patient keep what vision they have.
Okay, all right. I know that's kind of off topic.
No,
maybe
but
next
very
time
similar.
we can talk more about that.
Yes.
So in this image here, sort of a cross section of the eye.
Correct.
And the macular would be in the back?
Correct,
or
yeah.
I should say on the bottom.
Right, on the bottom. So it's kind of hard to see, but at the very bottom of that eyeball there's kind of a little divot there. That's the macula. And next to it, where those blood vessels are coming out, that's the optic nerve.
Okay.
And that's where it connects to the brain.
Ah, okay. It almost looks like electrical wires coming in.
Yes, exactly.
And I guess in a sense it is.
Exactly.
So, but the other divot, the one that's like dead center.
Correct. That's the macula.
Okay. And what is that doing? What does that function of the macula?
So lots of the photoreceptors, the cones, the cells responsible for our very fine, detailed central vision, they're highest density in the macula. They're scattered throughout the retina, but most high density right there in the macula.
Even just in that little area?
Correct.
And then that feeds information to the optic nerve?
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
And is this a laser treatment or laser cutting?
So this is a schematic that describes kind of the bread and butter of every retina surgeon's surgery, called a vitrectomy, where we actually surgically remove the vitreous jelly. A lot of people don't know this, but you don't need your vitreous jelly. You can remove it without any problems, and that's usually our first step to doing any retinal surgery. The eye fills it right back up with fluid and survives just fine.
That's amazing.
So so we make.
I wouldn't think that.
I know. So we make 3 little incisions on the white part of the eye. The first incision is to fill the eye up with saline so it doesn't collapse as we're working.
Okay, I was going to ask that. Because,
The second is a light, so we can actually visualize what we're doing.
Yeah.
And the third is either a cutting instrument or a forceps or whatever other instrument we're using to perform our surgery. And then using a microscope, we visualize what we're doing to do the surgery. So in the case of macular holes and macular puckers, we remove that vitreous jelly. For the macular puckers, we just visualize that scar tissue, peel it right off the macular area.
That's amazing.
For the macular holes, we peel the innermost layer of the retina, the internal limiting membrane, and that relieves some of the traction that's forcing that hole open. With the macular hole surgery, we fill the vitreous jelly up with a gas bubble at the end of the case. And what that does is it serves as like a balloon to help flatten that retina and help that hole seal.
Okay.
The gas bubble takes about 4 to 8 weeks to go away on its own, depending on the gas that we use. And so the patient could expect to have very blurred vision until that gas bubble goes away.
Any pain?
No. It's a very painless surgery, similar to cataract surgery. They do use drops for about a month after surgery. And about 85 to 90% of the time, we're able to get that hole closed.
Wow.
Now, how much vision they get back kind of depends on how big the hole was to begin with and how long it's been open. So if anyone has any problems with their vision, it's pretty imperative that they get to see us sooner rather than later, because the longer the hole stays open, the less chance that they regain useful vision once it's closed.
Okay, so again, if someone comes in after a certain age and gets their normal once-a-year eye exam or whatever it is, and they're not having any real problems, is that going to be part of the procedure for you to start looking for that as you would anything as we age?
Sure, absolutely. It depends on their vision, it depends on their symptoms. When I look into a macula, because I look at them every day very closely, I would be tipped off if there's something like this going on. The important thing is to get your eyes dilated very frequently, because a lot of times our good eye will compensate, and someone may not realize that they have a problem because we walk around with both eyes open and don't routinely close one eye and then the other. So they may not notice they have a problem because their good eye's compensating. When they come into clinic and we cover one eye to check their vision, that's when they realize, oh, darn, I can't see out of this eye, and they may not have realized before. So it is definitely important to come in and have routine checkups as you get older.
All right.
As you accumulate birthdays.
All right, very good. Thank you very much, Doctor.
Of course.
Pleasure
it was a
meeting
pleasure
you.
to meet you. Look
I
forward
really
to
appreciate it.
Talking again soon.
I know we'll see you back here for sure sometime.
Absolutely.
And say hi to everyone over there for me.
Will do.
Great people over there at Harvard Eye Associates. We'll be right back.
Individual care, specialized care. At Harvard Eye Associates, your vision and quality of life can be trusted to a group of specialists that provide advanced technology for the treatment of cataracts, including laser-assisted surgery, a broad range of intraocular lenses, and astigmatism correction. Come join the circle of care at Harvard Eye Associates, where the future of vision is today.
Welcome back. Jennifer Carmarker is here with the Globe headlines, and how fun. We have a local resident who took a bunch of ladies on a safari.
Yes.
I love that.
It's a great story. It's a new club in town called Travel with a Purpose.
Okay.
And for 8 days, a group of 12 women participated in philanthropic projects and indulged in African luxuries in the capital of Kenya, Nairobi. On day one, the women visited 2 schools, Fanaka Primary School and Mount Olive Boarding School. They handed out 300 t-shirts and were greeted with an afternoon of children performing song and dance. A few notable stops for her included visiting an elephant and rhino conservation where they adopted a 2-year-old elephant named Jato Riley. And later they visited an educational giraffe center in the capital where they would feed the long-necked mammals by mouth. They would actually, there she is.
Them by mouth?
They fed them by
gosh.
mouth. That is the founder of Travel with a Purpose, Sonia Marsh.
Okay.
And she designed the female-centric travel program to inspire travel and challenge minds to think on a global scale. Travel with a Purpose officially got its start in August of this year. However, Marsh said the story goes back even further. In 2015, her 28-year marriage was ending, and to Marsh, that manifested as pursuing her mid-20s dream of joining the Peace Corps. Once accepted, she taught elementary English to African orphans and developed a social media-based donation strategy to fund school renovations in the impoverished area in South Africa. Now, while overseas, she blogged about her experiences, and she noticed an incredible community, particularly women who were interested in her story. So in a matter of months, she had acquired several hundred readers, and it was at that moment she knew she was onto something. Marsh said, "I like to inspire people to get out of their comfort zone. I think that we Americans get so stuck in our little rut, we forget there's a whole world out there." She says, "I want to take away the fear of Africa and traveling, especially for women, and help people realize that there's so much good we can do for ourselves in doing good for others."
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, so in between trips, Marsh holds monthly meetings here in Laguna Woods Village that feature talks on topics ranging from travel to philanthropy, from writing to community development. And on Friday, November 16th, psychologists from Newport Beach will be speaking about their trip to Kenya in the late 90s, and that will be at the 19 Restaurant and Lounge at 5 p.m.
That's great.
And that's on Friday,
You know,
tomorrow.
good for her. She has not been here, not even a year.
Yes.
Not even a year. She just, because we had talked to her early on.
Has she been on this program?
Right,
Okay,
and I'm
okay.
very impressed by her
Yes,
ability to get everybody
yes,
together, so good
yeah.
job.
So, great. In other news, John Pearlstone is the newest member appointed to the Third Mutual Board that was established during a special open meeting on Tuesday, November 6th. And Director Pearlstone takes over the empty seat of Jewel Zallen, who resigned before taking the seat that he was reelected to last month. Pearlstone said, "I hope to be a part of communications with residents. I want to help educate them on ways they can get their problems solved. A lot of people haven't gotten as aware of services available to them as I'd like them to be." The 6-month village resident comes from a small business background with experience in accounting, negotiations, and group communications. Third also appointed Wei Ming Tao as their newest representative on the VMS Board of Directors. And we had on Tuesday a United Mutual meeting, and in a 7-2-1 vote, United approved a resolution that would further clarify the grandfather clause of inaction already approved revisions that protect land use alterations from policy changes. The purpose of the resolution is to prohibit any further alterations constructed on previously approved alterations. Kurt Wyman of Village Management Services explained, "If it's a patio, that's all it can be. At any point, it can't become a room extension. Whatever project you had approved when it was approved is what the area must stay. Alterations that are like for like would continue to be allowed, but would be determined by VMS staff, and complex requests may require a variance." The current land use policy adopted in June 2017 prohibits alterations from exceeding the unit's original footprint. However, alterations constructed before last year's ruling that exceed the unit's original footprint would be okay as long as the owner acquired consent prior to making modifications. Now, the resolution has to satisfy the 30-day notification, so the board will revisit it in January at their meeting.
That's a lot.
Yeah. Well, I know, United or Third recently had a ruling on their land use, so I think that's kind of a big issue. Common usage.
Right. Well, thanks for
common area
clarifying all
usage.
that. That's good to know.
And to the surprise of many directors, United Director Janie Durrell announced her resignation effective December 1st.
Wow.
Yeah. She explained in a letter that her departure is due to her plans to permanently relocate to Arizona.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So as an incumbent, she recently defended her seat and was elected for a new 3-year term. And also, President Juanita Skillman announced that the term of Anthony Liberatore, a VMS board director representing United, is up, and they are looking for candidates.
Okay.
So they will be accepting nominations for both positions. Applications must be in by 5 p.m. on Monday, November 26th, and appointments will be made in a special open meeting on November 29th.
Okay.
So.
All right.
And we have a little bit of news in our mayoral or our city council races. According to unofficial election results, Laguna Woods voters appeared to have returned Mayor Carol Moore to the council for another term. Incumbent council member Joe Rainey had a slight edge over challenger Judith Troutman for the second seat. However, as of Tuesday, less than 200 votes separate the two.
Wow.
With more than 300,000 ballots countywide still to count. So they haven't finalized it. They're
Okay.
still counting the provisional ballots and probably some of the mail-ins.
Okay.
So that's not finalized yet. So with fewer than few hundred votes separating the two, anything can happen.
Well,
at
that's
this
why it's
point.
very important to vote, because you never know.
Yeah,
Your
you
one vote
never
could
know.
put somebody in.
Yep.
Right.
Right. And of course, now we get to our favorite segment. We get letters.
The letters.
So this week, we didn't get a lot of letters. I think around when the holidays start, people tend not to write in.
Well, they're focusing on their other
They're
things,
focusing
cooking
on
and
all that
celebrating
stuff.
and all
Yeah,
that stuff.
yeah. And we had the election, so.
Right.
Anyway, we do have a few letters this week. Some of the subjects were the high cost to play golf in the village, noisy late night trash pickups, holiday music preferences, and then we got this letter from H.M. Edelstein, who writes, "We deserve a winterized pool for exercise classes and lap swimmers. An existing pool could accommodate this necessity. Year ago, M&C committee reached the point of checking the feasibility of an enclosed pool. To my knowledge, nothing happened as a result of disinformation or lack thereof. The result, maybe a Laguna Woods Village miracle awaits us."
Oh, well, maybe. That sounds like a great idea.
Yeah.
That would be nice. I mean, it doesn't get that cold here, though, you know, where you have them enclosed, but
Right.
I can understand the want.
And I think in the early morning it can be pretty
Well,
nippy.
that's true.
In
And if you're
December
getting
and
up that early,
January.
you know, the 85 degrees, the water just might not be enough.
Right.
Wear those big parkas to go swimming. So
There you go,
anyway,
wetsuits.
wetsuits. Thank you very much for the information.
Absolutely.
All right. And remember, if you want to get your copy of the Globe, you can always get it on Thursday mornings at 8 a.m. on the first floor of the Community Services Building. And we'll be right back after this.
We're catching breast cancer earlier now, and we're treating it more effectively and getting better results. So all those things made me want to get involved in breast cancer care. I've been doing this for 30 years. It's exciting. I see everyday improvements. We're getting better all the time, and I happen to work with one of the best teams in the world, BreastLink. I know how to bond with my patients, and I know they appreciate the fact that I listen to them. I try to work with them and help them find the best solution.
Find your smile and brighten your world.
Not a painful experience. It's a very welcome experience. And the aftermath is wonderful.
It's given me self-confidence to do a better job, be more outgoing with my customers, and just feel better about myself and about smiling again.
I wouldn't trust my mouth to anybody else.
Join us for a free Medicare dental implant seminar, December 6th at 11:30 at the Laguna Hills Community Center.
Welcome back. I have Dr. Robert Wolf, who's with South Coast Metro Center for Dentistry and Implants. And he's going to talk to us a little bit about some changes in dentistry and some very important information about a seminar that's coming up in December. Well, welcome.
Well, thanks for having me.
So tell me a little bit about yourself and sort of how long you've been doing dentistry.
Well, I've been practicing, it's hard to believe, 37 years.
Wow.
Graduated from the University of Iowa. I grew up in Iowa on a farm and spent a lot of years in Chicago and different places in Cleveland, but moved out here about a little over a year ago.
Okay.
It's a little warmer out here than it is in the Midwest.
I believe so. I believe so. So now there's so dentistry and implants. Sometimes you don't hear them going side by side. You have somebody who's just focusing on implants. So why have you combined the two?
Well, I worked for a very large corporation that's all we did was implants, a national corporation, and I saw the need. And I saw that there was also a need from the restorative standpoint of bringing it all together. Mm-hmm. And so I like to always start with the end in mind, is what I say. I guess Stephen Covey, you know, that's his quote. But basically, begin with the end in mind. So make the teeth fit properly on the face and really enhance the look of the person and follow form, fit, and function.
Okay.
And if you do that, then you put the implants where they best support the teeth. And so I kind of work backwards. I work from, you know, I don't work from the implants up, I work from the teeth back.
Okay, so you'll maybe do some other prep work first, and then do implants, right?
Today there's actually a lot of prep work, probably 6 to 10 hours of advanced work before we ever even touch a person, for doing whatever we're going to do.
Okay.
A lot of digital work where we'll use 3D scans and combine that with pictures and photos of them and literally create a virtual image of them and use a lot of digitally guided type of surgery. It's kind of like robotics for dentistry in a weird way. I guess I'm the robot, but we're actually being able to get a better idea of exactly where the implants are going to go, exactly where the teeth should be, and come out with great results with that.
So is that some of the changes that have come about now versus maybe a few years ago?
Yes, it's ever evolving, of course, and there's all sorts of new technologies. I always say I'm glad I stuck around dentistry so long because it's not the old dentistry, the drill, fill, and bill type of thing that was so prevalent back in 30, 40 years ago. So now it's really more it combines art and science, and the whole digital aspect is added a whole new layer.
Right. Was that a tough learning process for any dentist, I guess?
Well, yeah, and then someone of my age, computers weren't I didn't grow up with computers like the kids do now, but it took a lot of learning curve. But I think that it was easier to learn the computers because I knew the restorative and the surgical side so well. So I thought of the computer as just helping me to enhance and be able to practice the surgeries on digitally before executing it.
Okay, all right. Let's talk a little bit about Medicare coverage, because I don't think I realized that there was any coverage through Medicare for this type of situation.
There can be in certain instances. It may cover certain elements of it. Some of the prep work. Bone grafting is something, if somebody needs bone grafting, sometimes that can actually be covered. Unfortunately, dental implants are not covered themselves specifically. Unless there's really rare, unusual situations. But some of the there are some elements that may be covered, and everybody's different. That's kind of the caveat and the big asterisk that I have to put by it, because we have to build that, or we have to build it and see what happens with a lot of this. And they do have certain criteria that you have to fulfill.
Sure. Okay. So let's talk about some of your success stories and why someone would need dental implants. We have a few slides. So tell me about this individual.
Well, James actually was a minister in one of the large churches back in the Midwest where I was working. And he came in, and if you notice the person on the left of the screen, he was somebody who absolutely couldn't have anything except room temperature, anything, water, iced tea. This guy loved ice cream, and he said one of the biggest things he hated was he couldn't eat it. He'd had all sorts of dental work. He was missing teeth. He'd had bridges, partials, you name it. He'd had a lot of dental work over the years, and he tried to keep up, but time just caught up with him. And when you see this picture on the lower right-hand side of the screen, you see a typical situation I see was James was probably in his early 70s at the time that we took these pictures. And you can see the after pictures, and it's a tremendous change.
So are you saying, because of the dental work, like he had dental work all of his life, and then, so what causes him to have these types of gaps like that? Just letting teeth go?
Things were breaking.
Okay.
Things would break, and as teeth wear, and as we all age, the teeth, the wear on the teeth kind of causes the jaws to come closer together.
I see.
So what you're seeing here from this picture to this picture is basically recapturing some of that space that was, and that makes him look younger. You can see.
Oh yeah.
My favorite part is the eyes. I mean, you can look at the eyes. If you look at the eyes in the before and the after picture, you see his eyes are wide open here. Here they don't. It's kind of like he's almost squinting.
Yeah, like he's in pain.
Like he's in pain, and he was in a lot of pain, and he's a fabulous guy, and he's just always his last name is Smiley, which I think is funny.
And now he's super smiley.
Now he's super smiley. He wanted those teeth to be brilliantly white. That's what he always said, and so that's why they're big, bright, and bold. But it fits him.
It certainly does. Yeah, absolutely. Good for him. Okay, and who else do we have? The next slide.
Oh, Nancy. Nancy is one of my favorites because, well, they are all my favorites, but Nancy has a particularly special spot in the fact that she came in like this about 4.5 years ago, and she called a number of times before she came in because she was really dental phobic.
Oh.
So that's how her teeth became like that. And if you see the close-up on the lower, I mean, you see teeth that are decayed and gum disease, and just, you know, the bite was way off and everything else was off.
Wow.
And during the process, she actually, when she first came in, she said, you know, we said, well, we'd like you to just, you know, complete this form. She says, well, I don't even know if I want to be a patient here yet.
Yeah.
And so, but what's really funny is during the course, about partway through the course of the treatment, she actually became employed at the dental office where I was back in the Midwest.
Okay.
She's still the receptionist there today.
Oh, well, she's a great great testimony for you, right?
Yeah, and you can see the before and after. I mean,
Oh,
she doesn't even look like she's related to this person on the top of the
That
screen.
really changes their whole facial structure.
It does, and there's a reason for that. I mean, it's not just by accident. I mean, you know, they now have a better bite and function, so the muscles support the face better.
Oh, okay. Oh, right.
And so, you know, and she obviously lost weight, so that helped too.
Yeah.
But part of that was she just couldn't eat very well.
Exactly, exactly. And then we have Kathy.
Kathy was, you know, she came in and her upper teeth were about ready to fall out, literally.
Okay.
We were kind of worried when we took the impressions that they might not survive it, but they did. And in her case, you know, you can see a tremendous change. She didn't really want this, you know, the big bright white. She wanted something natural, but she just wanted to be able to comfortably eat and chew and enjoy her family and go out, you know, with people, with friends and so forth. And so, you know, this is all something that's accomplished through that whole phase.
Well, it's great. I mean, that you've changed lives for sure, right?
It really is fun to see because, again, you know, I think you can just look at the eyes and you can see how their face changes.
Right, right. Okay, so you've got a Medicare dental implant seminar that's coming up, and it's right here in our Laguna Hills Community Center.
Right.
Tell me about the seminar on December 6th. What are they going to learn?
Well, we'll go through specifics of how, you know, how we can do this actually in a lot of cases in just one day of work. We can go from, you know, having the teeth that you saw in a lot of these people beforehand, and by the time they leave, they have a new smile.
Okay.
We'll talk about that. We'll talk about, you know, specifics of that, and also learn a little bit more about, you know, how Medicare might be able to offset some of their costs.
Okay. All right. Yes, because I would imagine this is considered cosmetic surgery, is it not? Or
it is, which I always thought was funny, you know, because it is cosmetic, but it's so functional for all these people that you see.
Right. Okay. All right. Well, good. So that is going to be on December 6th at the Laguna Hills Community Center at 11:30.
Yep.
And I like the fact that you have Chick-fil-A coming.
I don't think there's anybody that doesn't like Chick-fil-A.
Well, that'll be great. But it's important for people to reserve a spot.
Right.
Okay. And that will be, they can go to the website and find out that information?
They can.
Okay. And that's scmdentistry.com, or they can call the phone number, right?
Absolutely.
Okay. Perfect. Well, thank you so much.
Well,
I
thanks
really
for having
appreciate
me.
it.
I appreciate being here.
And good luck to your seminar.
All right. Thank you.
All right. And we will be right back after these messages.
Number one choice for wood flooring and more is LA Carpet.
Now during their 2-day sale, visit their showroom now and get 65% off wood flooring, laminate, and waterproof flooring.
Plus, get 5-year, 0% financing.
LA Carpet, number one for you.
And with me right now is Wendy Miller from RE/MAX, and I'd like to welcome you. Hello.
Oh, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. So we're going to get into this in just a moment. First, let's talk about your background. How did you get into this world of real estate?
Well, actually, it was one of two dreams, and about year 2000, I started as an international flight attendant. I flew for 12 years, and that was my first dream. I flew all around the world, met amazing people, gained so much knowledge of the world and how it works and how different people are, even learned different languages and indulged in new food. And yeah, just really enjoyed meeting new people, and I love to speak. Yeah. I love to talk, I love people, and that's what also got me into into the real estate world. One of my flight attendant friends was also a real estate agent at the time of being a flight attendant. And I thought, you know what? I've always thought of doing this, and I need to start my education. So about a year before I stopped flying, I started my education into pursuing my real estate license.
And now, yeah, you are local here, but you're from this area anyway, right?
I am.
Okay.
I was born and raised in Laguna Niguel,
Okay.
the connector city to Laguna Woods, Laguna Hills. And I've lived there for 39 years, and I just love the community. I love the people. Everyone here is so welcome and inviting, and I just love the humanity of it all. I don't drive by anybody that really doesn't give me a smile or a wave, and likewise, the pleasantries are wonderful. And when I was a kid, my grandparents owned a home in Laguna Woods, and we spent, it actually was called Leisure World back then.
Yes, it was.
It was wonderful, and the big globe out there, if you remember that. And I just loved the greenery. It just felt like you were in this different world, where the birds were chirping and there's nothing wrong. There's so many clubs and so much fun things to do. Croquet, we did bridge, and it was just great. And so coming back into this community really brought me back. And I thought, you know what? I loved working, here, selling homes the past few years. And I thought, you know what, I'm going to give it a go, and I would like to meet the rest of the people and do what I can do to help them with their buying and selling needs.
So have you kind of transitioned into specializing in Laguna Woods in this area?
Yes, yes, I have. Since I grew up in the area, I thought, what better way, to meet people and teach them what they need to know, the importance and the knowledge behind buying and selling, and understanding, what you need to do. And
it's very unique, as you probably know, because first of all, you're dealing with, I would say, really four entities, because you're dealing with 2 mutuals, and then for the folks who want to live in the towers, that's a third one. And of the fourth one is, of course, dealing overall with the community and the rules. I guess you could say the fifth is the city. But there's a lot to deal with, more so than most other communities. Many communities in South Orange County, of course, do have associations.
Yes.
However, the different types of situations that we have in this community are often very unique.
Yes, definitely. There are quite a few challenges that you need to overcome in real estate. There are deeds and there are stock options.
Right.
So yes, I'm very knowledgeable in those areas, and I can help everyone to all possible buyers to understand the requirements, and the specialties that are Laguna Woods.
And in some cases, you have to deal with whatever side you're on, buying or selling, is dealing with a unit that may have had some things done to it, and you have to figure out, well, this was properly done. Does it need to change back? Does it? And that's a very, you're not going to do that out. If you're doing real estate at Laguna Niguel in somebody's home, even if there's an association, you're not going to deal with what's going on in the home unless it's a major California code violation that you see.
Exactly.
For the most part, you just kind of go with what's there.
Yes, and like I was saying, it is unique here in Laguna Woods, and especially with the home I sold back in May, it was stock. So what happened was there's General Electric products in the place, and then the nice thing about it was I was able to help the buyer to get certain items replaced that if they weren't working with an agent, they might have skipped over those items.
Yeah, so very important. And as far as other thing in this community as well, is you are dealing with people who, this might be their very last home.
Yes.
And just because they end up moving here, they could be here for another 30 years. Where if you're dealing with a younger family, they're looking at quite often, well, this is our home for now.
Yes.
And there's a difference too. You want to make sure people are going into something knowing full well what it entails, so they're going to be happy there for years.
Yes, definitely. And you know, especially here, it's nice to really get to know the people and really show them that you care, because that's what's important in understanding their family, understanding all of their needs, and at the end of their ownership of their home, say that they decide to move out of Laguna Woods or relocate within Laguna Woods, or even move,
and that happens.
Yeah, and that happens too.
Yeah,
yes, you might. You might be living on second level, and you think, oh, you know, I'd like a single level to be my, you know, my home.
Yeah.
You know, for forever.
Yeah. Yeah. So you deal with that as well.
Yes.
Now, as far as choosing you as a realtor, a lot of realtors to choose from.
Yes, sir.
Why you? Why, especially for this area?
I have a warm place in my heart for Laguna Woods. Since my grandparents had a place here and I pretty much grew up here, Leisure World, Laguna Woods, I care about people. I don't worry about yesterday. I pay attention to now, and I care for you as a person. And I make sure that all the T's are crossed and the I's are dotted, and that you're completely cared for and everything is put into one package. So, yeah.
Very good. Yeah, and
I always have a smile on my face.
Yes, she does. She does.
My nickname is Smiling Realtor, so you'll always see me driving through Laguna Woods with a smile on my face. And I'd love for you to give me a wave and love to stop by and maybe have a cup of coffee.
And if people want to talk to you about your services,
Oh, yes.
whether you're buying or selling, 949-294-1022. It's right up there on the screen. And, you know, again, you really seem to know this community well. You're local, and you know the ins and outs, and that's the most important thing here.
Yes, very important to have knowledge. A local area specialist is very important to understand the rules and regulations of the communities and also the cities and the states that those communities are in.
Yeah, very
And
good.
I am available, check this out, 25 hours a day,
Okay.
8 days a week.
8 days a week. There you go. Nice to meet you. We'll see you again,
Pleasure.
I'm sure.
Thank you so
Take
much.
care.
All right.
And we'll be right back. Very good.
Hi, I'm Wendy Miller, your Laguna Woods real estate professional. Have you been looking for a realtor?
Wendy Miller helped me through the challenging process of real estate here in Laguna Woods. She was helpful, she was fun, she was professional. I really recommend her.
Whether you're thinking of buying, selling, downsizing, or even relocating within Laguna Woods, I am your real estate professional and can help guide you through the entire process. Give me a call and I'll help you make the right move.
On December 8th, rock your holiday season at KXmas, featuring Nancy Wilson of Heart with Road Case Royale. Hear classic hits like Barracuda, Crazy on You, These Dreams, and many, many more. Opening the night will be indie rockers La Sera and Springtime Carnivore. December 8th, Irvine Bowl, nestled in Laguna Canyon, home to Pageant of the Masters. You can't miss this. All proceeds benefit KX 93.5 FM. Details and tickets are at kx935.com.
Welcome back. We have some movies for you. We have the Friday movie, which is Mamma Mia, which is a sequel to the first Mamma Mia, and it's all music.
Yes.
It's called Here We Go Again, and it's PG-13, 5 years after the events of Mamma Mia. Sophie prepares for the grand reopening of the Hotel Belladonna as she learns more about her mother's past. Discover Donna's young life, experiencing the fun she had with the 3 possible dads of Sophie. As she reflects on her mom's journey, Sophie finds herself to be more like her mother than she even ever realized. A musical journey of fun with Lily James, Amanda Seyfried, and Meryl Streep, among many others. Even Cher makes an appearance in this one.
Does she really?
Yep, she does. So it looks fun, and that's going to be on Friday at 2 and 7 p.m.
So this one looks like it kind of delves into the past more.
It does. It's like a
Okay.
recap, and then they've got new people, so it's
Okay.
It's a cute one.
All right, Monday movie is a documentary called 3 Identical Strangers. And this takes place, it took place back in 1980, where 3 young men, or when they were obviously babies, they were all adopted by different people. And then years later, they discover each other, and they kind of tell the tale. And I think this is somewhat done both as a documentary, but they have actors doing, you know, sort of the... Yeah, you can see here, there's some actors doing some of the roles in this to sort of move the documentary along. A little bit of everything. And great story, very interesting, and a true story. So this will be on Monday.
Great, that is fun.
Also on Monday is Monday night. Did I go out of order?
That's
no,
okay.
Oh, Monday Night Football.
Monday Night Football. Dun, 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 dun.
Yes. Dun, 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 dun.
I'm trying.
And Monday night, hey, if you want to watch Monday Night Football, you can. And this is a really fun thing to do with some folks around here. And this will be happening at the Clubhouse 5 Main Lounge. The doors open 30 minutes prior to game time. Tickets are not needed for this free event. Seating is on a first-come, first-served basis. Enjoy free chips. Salsa hot dogs are available for purchase.
Nice.
And No Host Bar will be there as well, so you can purchase some drinks if you want. It will be Kansas City at LA Rams, and they will be at the LA Rams. This was going to be done in Mexico City, but they just canceled that.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, because I guess the field down there was in such bad shape. They decided to move it back to
LA.
Here, LA.
All right, awesome. Okay, so
yeah.
now we need to let you know, which if you didn't catch our segment yesterday, is that the Thanksgiving buffet is sold out. However, the 19th restaurant is going to have their own buffet, Thanksgiving buffet, which has all the yummy fixings. It's going to have chicken, seafood, steak, and Italian, so you can have a plated menu, but that does not have a buffet. Or you can do the traditional turkey dinner with all of the great stuff for $20.95 a person. And then, of course, dessert, you have pumpkin, apple, and Ken's favorite, pecan pie. And that will be from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. They're taking reservations and walk-ins, but I would highly recommend that you do reservations because this can also sell out. So do it right away.
And who would have chicken on Turkey Day?
Well, some people might not like turkey.
I'm sorry, you got to have turkey.
Gosh.
And as I said last week, even next week, beginning, and much to my wife's chagrin, I won't even have chicken during that week. I save up the poultry.
Well, I've already had turkey once, and I'm going to have it probably two times.
I'm just the way it is. I can't have chicken the day before I have turkey. Now, Italian, I know a lot of people, we used to go to a family Thanksgiving, and someone always had like a lasagna there as well, because it was tradition for them to have that more as a side dish.
Yeah,
which would be
you could
great.
do that.
You know, it's kind of like mac and cheese you have with it.
Oh yeah. Okay, now this is a little early, but we are singing in the new year with James Darren featuring the Dave Siebels, is that how you pronounce that, Siebels Band? They're going to be at the Performing Arts Center December 31st, obviously, New Year's Eve. And James Darren is perhaps best known as the actor who played Moondoggie in the original Gidget, and more recently the character of Vic Fontaine in Star Trek. Oh, Deep Space Nine. Oh,
I didn't know he was in that.
I didn't know that
I did watch
either.
Deep Space Nine, but
oh wow, okay, cool. And then tickets are on sale. They're already started on sale in the Performing Arts Center box office. The 3 p.m. show is $20 to $25, and 7 p.m. is $30 to $40. But that includes an appetizer and champagne before the show, so that's cool. VIP access, a meet and greet with James Darren. That sounds fun, and that would be an additional $20, I believe. So. And the VIP upgrade is available to 7 p.m. show attendees only. If you want more information, you go to 949-597-4288 or recreation@vmsinc.org.
All right, and a quick reminder, the Theater Guild's meeting tonight will be over at Clubhouse 7, 6:30, refreshments, and 7 o'clock the meeting. And this is going to be open to everyone, and they're going to be working on cold readings. So if you
You're
go
supposed
there,
to bring your own, though.
Yeah, you can bring your own,
right? Okay.
or they'll have, other
something.
things there as well. And so what they're going to do over there at, Clubhouse 7, is they'll give you something to read, and you'll go stand in the walk-in refrigerator over there, because it's a cold reading. Oh, come on, that was funny.
But I'm done.
All right.
Well, that's really stretching it out.
That is stretching. They're telling us to stretch it out.
But one thing you have to remember, though, is they want you to bring a non-perishable food donation.
Oh yes, that's very important.
Yeah, so they're having their food drive there. And of course, if you want more information, you can go to mzolly58@gmail.com, and that's our very own Mary Zolly.
All right, now the weather, we are going to get rid of that wind, at least for now. And although it's not going to be much cooler today, maybe 2 or 3 degrees, the beach community is about 5 degrees cooler. We're going to start on that, thankfully, downward trend of cooler weather, more fog coming back. And as I said, in the forecast, there's a slight chance of rain coming in next week. It may, for us, be Thanksgiving. You know, we want the rain, not necessarily on that days. But there is a good-sized system that'll be entering into California the start of next week. So we'll see. But look at the difference in not so much temperatures, but really that marine layer coming back and that humidity and the moisture that it brings, and that's what we want. Beach communities about 74 today. Everywhere else is pretty similar to what we had. They'll stay about the same. I think you can see Palm Springs, though, going back up again because that warmth is coming back out there with the winds gone. All right.
All right, tomorrow we have the United Update. El Toro Pharmacy will be here. SHA Insurance Services, and then, of course, Sterling Financial. Have a great day in the village, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Bye-bye.